What's up, everybody? I'm here at a restaurant in Mamaroneck, Green Life. Not only do I eat here at least once a week with my wife, we also do meal prep here, and I'll talk about that later. But today's special guest is the owner of Green Life, Mark Caligiuri. Mark, am I saying your name right?
Yes, you are.
All right, absolutely. Mark, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, so let me ask you a question. How old are you?
I am 32.
32, young guy and good-looking guy. Girls, get at him. Question for you. What was the inspiration behind Green Life? Because I've been to many different healthy places, but not like this one. And after I moved up here a couple of years ago, I've been here a lot.
Absolutely. That's a great question, Omar. So basically what inspired us to open up this restaurant in 2015 in June was there's nothing around like us. So There's only pizzerias, sushi restaurants at the time when we opened, and we wanted to offer a product that not only tasted good, but that was healthy.
Okay.
We chose Mamaroneck because there was nothing like it. Yeah. In the area. We felt it was a niche market, and we ran with it. We not only offer salads, soups, smoothies, juices, protein bowls, we offer meal preparation as well, which we offer to the Westchester County base as well as Connecticut to provide people with healthy meals.
To follow the nutritional values.
Absolutely.
How big is meal prep a part of your business?
It's a big piece of our business.
Can you give me a percentage?
I'd say about 35 to 40%.
Wow. Okay. Okay. And that's every week. You deliver food twice a week.
Absolutely, to ensure the freshness of the food.
Right.
We deliver on Monday for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Wednesday for the back half of the week, whether that be for Thursday, Friday, or the duration from Thursday to Sunday.
Okay. And who's your typical client? Because I see sometimes I come in at lunchtime. There's little kids here. There's high schoolers. So who's your typical client?
Our typical demographic is probably high school to middle-aged women that are looking to take care of themselves, as well as be healthy and live a healthy lifestyle.
What about bodybuilders?
That is our market, but it's not all we focus towards. We focus towards everybody. Sometimes we have clients that are 16-year-olds, as you said, high school students, and we have 7-year-old people who are, really care about their ability,
their health, right, and longevity.
Yeah.
Well, bodybuilders are cheap anyway, and I can say that. Yeah, I can say that. So I'm on, I think, week 5 or 4 of meal prep, right? My energy's great. I think the biggest thing is, as an executive on the go, that I could tell people is that if you take that one thing out, where if you're trying to eat healthy, right?
Correct.
And you can take out the macro counting or whatever calorie counting, whatever you're doing, and have 3 meals a day set aside as one less thing to worry about, I think your efficiency levels just go up that much higher. Because there's just one less thing to worry. Because my HQ's in the Bronx, South Bronx. There is no healthy food down there. Everything is cuchifrito stands and bodegas, and no knock to that. It's a lifestyle, and once in a while it's cool. But if I ate that every day, I'd be 350, 400 pounds.
Correct.
And do you have a lot of people coming out from far?
We do. When you say far, what do you mean, Omar?
I'm originally from the Bronx. I live in New Rochelle, so I'm 3 miles away from here now. But my business is in the Bronx, so I travel 20 minutes away every day.
Absolutely.
Do you have a lot of professionals that way?
So we do have people from the Bronx, Mount Vernon, the New Rochelle
you mentioned
area.
Connecticut,
where we go as far as right now we're in Fairfield, the furthest we go out.
For
meal prep. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, just so because it's a niche and everybody needs that niche to basically be covered. And if you plan, you need to plan ahead, not plan to fail. If you plan to fail, you're not going to get your goals. Right. Like you said, if you don't prep your food properly, you can simply just lose track of everything you have. Grab a slice of pizza, and before you know it, you destroyed your whole day.
Right. And you're running the cycle. So if you're delivering food, when you opened the restaurant, was that the plan?
That was not.
All right, there you go. Yeah, because that was that's kind of.
So when we first opened up the restaurant,
what was the plan? Tell me, break it down.
The plan
your father, your brothers, you're
me,
what's up?
My 2 brothers and my father opened up this restaurant.
Right. What was it like?
What inspired us?
You guys sat together, you're like, yo, man.
Mom was in the wholesale grocery business. Okay. Her company was called Sesson Wholesale Groceries down in the Bronx.
Sesson's big in the Bronx.
Yep, on Bronxdale Avenue. They recently just sold the business. My father was in the gourmet restaurant business in Riverdale up until 2008.
Okay.
So I came out of college, fresh out of college, and we proposed.
What school did you go to?
I went to Fordham University.
And what did you study?
Business finance.
Nothing to do with
restaurants. Nothing to do with this.
Okay.
But in between, I was always working with Mom, working with Dad, so it was kind of like what
Osmosis,
we do.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So once we figured out, I don't know if being in a cubicle working for Goldman Sachs isn't going to work anymore. We want to do something a little different. We proposed, me and my brother actually proposed the business plan to my dad.
So you had a business plan?
Yeah,
All right.
for what we were looking to do.
Very cool.
And he was on the couch and kind of looked at me and was like, we just sent you guys to school for 4 years each, and now you want to open up a restaurant.
We could save time and money.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
So Dad actually happened to be fortunate enough to own the property.
Okay.
And he said, okay, I'll build the place out for you guys.
You say he's a gourmet chef or a gourmet?
He owned a gourmet deli slash, it was like a, best way to describe it was like a D'Agostino's on steroids.
All right.
4 stores big, about 10,000 square feet. It was like a grocery
huge.
store. Yeah.
Okay.
They sold everything from sandwiches to pizza to produce to everything you could think of.
Okay.
They had it.
Wow.
Yeah.
And where'd they meet? Was she
My
delivering the food?
Small world.
Yeah.
My grandfather and both my grandfathers, right? They used to service my grandfather who owned the wholesale grocery business.
Right.
Used to service my father in his pizzeria restaurant. So my dad met my mom through my grandfather.
Through the parents.
Yep.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. And I see that they're still here with you.
They are.
Right. And is your brother still here?
My brother is not. It's
He
just
moved
me.
on?
Yeah, me and my brothers all are in different career paths. I'm the only one solely running the store.
How do you feel about the restaurant so far? I mean, you've been here, what?
I've been here 8 years.
Right, 8 years.
8
Big
years.
part of your life.
Yep.
Part of
I
your
love
identity.
it. I really love interacting with clients every single day, and making customers happy and allowing them to try new things that we create on a daily basis.
Right.
And as well, give them that TLC that they need to feel that everything that we offer here is healthy, fresh, and also tastes good. Because eating healthy is not the easiest thing for people.
Right.
It's it's like eating a piece of grilled chicken. After it gets dried out, it doesn't taste good. It's providing somebody with something that they can't feel like, wow, I can eat this. This is healthy.
Right.
I think is the major key component here at Green Life.
What do you hear the most? Most people tell me, like, they always be like, I could, like, they always start with the, oh, that's crazy. And I'm like, it's not crazy. It's just a decision, right?
Absolutely.
Like, and then you start, like, I'm a little older than you, right? So you start thinking long term. Like, how do I keep myself looking and feeling a certain way
Absolutely.
for as long as possible? And that becomes the logistical, I don't know if the word is going to be, not awareness, but rather consciousness. Like, you're like, yo, man, I want to, because I see guys that are my age, right? And they're not moving like I'm moving, right? So, I mean, you saw me at the gym recently. We play basketball
100%.
twice a week, 3 times a week. What do you, like, do people come in and be like, oh, what's good? You ever hear that?
Yeah. So basically, you have to have.
I was on my way to Popeyes, but I stopped over here. Nah, you probably don't hear that.
No, not that part. But
Right.
if they don't tell me that, they,
Right.
but they need to have realistic expectations.
Okay.
That's the thing too. People want to come in and like, oh, I want to lose 15 pounds before Christmas. Okay, that's not realistic. You need to.
The guy I referred you said exactly that. I want to lose 10 pounds before Christmas.
You need to have realistic goals so that you can maintain those results, right? 2 to 3 pounds a week is efficient, right? So you got to learn you have to retrain your body to eat a certain way, because the way you're training your body before you weren't giving yourself the proper nutrition.
Right.
So the first step is learning a healthy lifestyle in order to achieve what you're looking for, if that answers your question.
Right, and some people are simply looking to lose weight. Like, I talk to people all the time, like, well, what do you want to look like? Right? They're like,
Absolutely.
what do you mean? I'm like, well, that's body composition, right?
Yeah.
We can say numbers.
Yep.
I just want to be 220 and be what? Skinny fat? Look
Exactly.
muscular? Like, that becomes the conversation.
Yep.
But tell people about protein, carbs, fats, how that works and what they do, because people, hearing it from me is one thing, hearing it from you.
Yep. You have to live a balanced life. For example, you have to have a quality, a portion controlled meal. So the protein's got to be high. Complex carb has to be high. For example, vegetables, fruit, stuff like that. And carbohydrates have to be, dumbed down to a minimal. You cannot be eating a tremendous amount of carbs, because if you're not utilizing the carbs, therefore, what happens is you're just going to store them and just gain more fat.
So they convert to fat.
Correct.
Right. Now,
if you're working out,
that's what I was going to get to, right? So if you're working out, so what happens is when you're working out, I'll say you're putting in the work, right? But the eating part, that's the part that helps you achieve your results faster. Because what people don't understand is that hypertrophy is basically the breaking down of muscle.
Yep.
And protein builds muscle.
Yep.
And carbs gives you energy to keep moving.
Correct.
Right? So I just want to explain to people exactly how that all works, because if not, they'll be like, oh, I can eat carbs all day. I remember I read this article, and they were like, I need a lot more carbs. Oh, let me just drink beer.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, beer is high in carbs, no fat, but alcohol retards the body's ability to synthesize protein.
Absolutely.
That's the hidden gem that nobody knows about.
I think right there to stop. Sorry to interrupt you there.
No, go ahead. This is
clean carbs.
Okay.
So for example, potatoes, white potato, sweet potato, white rice, brown rice, clean carbs, quinoa. It's also considered a protein. I still consider it a carbohydrate. I mean, it all depends on what you're eating. But again, what you're eating on a daily basis and how you're performing on a daily basis also depends on what you should be taking in on a daily basis.
Right.
So I'm not saying go out and have pizza and pasta and all these things, right? Because at the end of the day, those are calories, but you need to have calories you need to have a balanced meal on a daily basis. And like you said, the reason why you're doing meal prep, it keeps the thinking out of it, right?
Yeah.
So like you can go right to the refrigerator, pick your meal out. You don't have to think about what I'm gonna eat for lunch, what I'm gonna have for dinner, what I'm gonna have for breakfast. You just go there, take it, and it makes that craving that you would normally have of allowing yourself to think, what am I gonna have today, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to think about it anymore. Just go there, microwave it, or heat it up to your liking of temperature in the oven, eat it, and I guarantee you feel just as satisfied or better than if you went out and got something bad for yourself.
Well, absolutely. I mean, look, the reason I started doing it because I was like, there's been a paradigm shift in real estate.
Of course.
So I had to focus a little more on the business. So I wanted to take one less thing off my mind so I can focus on my MMAs, which are money-making activities, and focus on how I can shift with the market. So that was one of the reasons because, I mean, also, you know my wife, like having her cook for me all the time, I felt kind of guilty. Like, you're like, yo, I know you just sold this house, but can you do my meals for the week? And I kind of felt stupid after a while. I told her I'm gonna try this.
And time is money.
Yeah, and she takes some of the meals sometimes, all good. But it just makes things easier if you really care. Now, if you treat it as a chore, it'll be just that. But once you start seeing results, and I would say, my personal opinion for anybody who's watching is that you got to give it at least 100 days, right?
100%.
100 days, because a day you won't do nothing, 30 days, not really. Maybe drop some water weight. 100 days, you can actually start seeing some fat dissolve, seeing some muscle definition and some separation. And that's what people get involved with. They fall in love with that shit. They're like, I want to look better.
People don't realize that, they just put a little bit of work in. I actually have a friend that I'll shout out on here as well. His name is Jacob Zemer. So basically, he believes in like 3 months. Give yourself 3 months, and it will change your life. Because exactly. So that's my theory because he's helped me as well. Along with nutrition, with nutrition, a lot of people have done that for me, and he's gotten me to the next level of learning my body because I used to be heavily into bodybuilding, and all I knew was, eating a very regimented diet that didn't really teach me a lifestyle.
Right.
It was basically me, eating a very bland diet. Like again, it's finding food that is healthy but also tastes good.
Right.
And he's taught me that side. You can have a burger on the menu. You can have a Phoenix bowl. You can have the Tuscan chicken bowl. And at one point I was like, wow, I'm never going to see the results I wanted. And then during that time, I actually lost about 25, 30 pounds after COVID.
Eating things everybody had the COVID fluff.
Exactly. Yeah, because I didn't realize it was what I was consuming and how much of it versus portioning my meals out to know that was what it was going to take for me to see what I needed to see.
Well, you touched on it. How did COVID affect you?
Oh, it affected me in a bad way.
No, not personally. I'm talking about business.
Business, actually.
You can talk about business too. You can talk about business too.
So, business. We actually had to adapt to basically not allow, for a period of time, not allow anybody in the store.
Right.
We had just grab and go. So basically you come in, you place an order online. We would basically have a table set up in the front. No one was allowed in. Everyone was masked up. We provide you the food, or we would deliver it, or we use Uber Eats.
Okay.
That's when we discovered our building. We really had to adapt, and our model happened to work very well with what we had to offer versus some of the other restaurants that, they depended on in-store dining. We didn't have to.
Yeah. Well, a lot of restaurants also, I know you couldn't, but a lot of restaurants thrive with the alcohol to go.
Correct. And we don't even have an alcohol license.
Right. You didn't have that. Right. So I know some guys did really well because they were, again, like going into that economy of 2019, 2020, the government was printing money. So people were just bowling out, right? They were ordering, if I usually ordered out $100, it became $400 because they weren't paying for it. They were getting paid time and a half to stay home, right? And the government was trying to keep everybody calm, so they just kept pumping out money. And I have friends of mine, some certain industries like the liquor industry, fucking blew up.
Of course.
Thrived, right? My boy bought another house, like everyone was bowling out. Other people like the hotel industry and all that, they got destroyed. And like going back to the dine-in, the eat-in, the family restaurants, the family style serving,
they couldn't
survive. They got decimated. Yeah, absolutely. But luckily you pivoted. But personally, how did it affect you? Since you touched about it, I got to talk about it. I mean, I gained like 50.
Yeah, so I gained about 30 pounds.
Right.
I really discovered liking to, to drink and eating things I shouldn't have been eating when actually I was never into that because, like I said, I mentioned I was always into bodybuilding. So that really was not part of my lifestyle.
Did you have a gym at home?
I didn't. I didn't, and I just was like, F it, I can't go, so there's no excuse, so I'll just eat whatever I want. Eating tremendous amounts of, candlelight, because I was on the go, and eating things I shouldn't have been eating, and then it really caught up to me, and one day I said, how did I let myself go? And knowing where I was, and
what was the aha moment? I'll tell you my aha moment. My aha moment was, we took a picture on the Macroom's Dam Bridge. It's on Instagram. I didn't take it down just to shame myself. And I said, yo, who the fuck is that?
Yeah.
That was really I was like, who is that? And I was like, that's me. I was like, oh, hell no.
I walked into Nordstrom's and tried putting a pair of pants on, and the thing I threw them off real quick. I said, I'm not buying anything until I lose some more weight.
All right, so you're trying to buy clothes.
Oh my God. Yeah, so how did I get this big?
And you know what? Not being funny, being a taller guy, it kind of just, it looks okay on you until you get into the details of it. You're like, let me put a shirt. What?
Yeah.
Is double X?
Exactly.
What? Feels kind of tight. Yeah.
Agreed.
Absolutely. Or put on a blazer.
Absolutely. Feel real tight.
Yeah, you look like a sausage fest,
Yeah.
right? Absolutely. So yeah, I mean, those are the few things I wanted to cover. I also wanted to cover if people. So what do you think is that, like, New Year's is coming, right?
Yep.
This is gonna drop New Year's. This is our New Year's edition.
Yeah.
New Year's resolution edition at Green Life. What are a couple of tips you can give people that if they're having serious challenges with changing the way they're eating? A couple of tips that you give them to help them kind of start on the path.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So a few tips I can is, first off, is come to our restaurant. We're at 266 Mamaroneck Avenue in Mamaroneck, New York, right in the heart of town. Come here, try food, see that healthy food can taste good, because at the end of the day, people automatically think, oh, healthy food, oh, I can't have that. Or it's so bland, I'm not gonna try that. But they don't realize that there's so many things and so many recipes out there now that basically provide people with healthy food so that you can, have a healthy lifestyle and change your life for the better. So the tip of the day I would say is try to, find a niche for yourself that you can get healthy, work out, find healthier options to eat, and clean up your diet.
Yeah. I would say I would just only add to that, like, working out doesn't have to be bodybuilding or CrossFit.
No.
It's just moving. 2
to 3 times a week start.
Just moving.
Even if that's that.
Even if it's taking a walk around the block.
Correct.
That's how it starts.
Get your steps in.
I think COVID was the big eye opener where everybody was like, yo, how did this happen?
Correct.
But meanwhile, we were all behind our TV or on our phone, just chilling, eating.
Exactly.
And one day we wake up and nothing fits. Yeah, it was a wild time. It was wild. And you are right, socially, but you're stuck home. Everybody starts drinking. Then you had, like, what they call them, the pods, like the group of people that hang out together.
Exactly.
And you'd have, like, dinner parties. And
you
can't
have this person over, he got COVID.
Right. And then, you would eat, and then that's it. There's nothing else. We can't go out.
There was nothing for us to do.
Yeah,
drive around.
Luckily, we had a little gym in my house. I was
amazing.
in the Bronx at the time, the backyard. We tried to stay active, but it was still hard. I mean, you don't have any kids. I had kids still in school. And they had to adapt to online shit, and that's a discipline in itself, man.
Absolutely.
One of my kids did it well, the other kid not so well, and then I heard horror stories of friends of mine. Like, during COVID, you really started to learn the economies of life. Like, I had a friend tell me, oh, look, it's either my son goes to school, I go to work. There's one computer in the house. Like, and those things kind of open up your eyes. Like, before you're like everybody's good. Like, we're all in our little private hells, but they're kind of comfortable, right? And then you start seeing, not everybody's so comfortable. And you me anyway, I started becoming very grateful for what I had. But I think the biggest shock with COVID was going to the supermarkets and seeing the shelves empty. That was kind of like a real big eye opener.
It was a big deal for us as well, because didn't realize like the prices of groceries and everything went up like 38% for us.
And how did your prices adjust for that?
We had no choice but to increase our prices, and it wasn't so that we can make more money. It was so that we can cover. It was to make the same money and cover costs.
Did you lay anybody off during COVID?
We actually didn't. We kept all of our staff on, and we used our PPP money for that.
That's great. A lot of people let people go.
Yep.
A lot of people didn't want to come back to work.
Well, I mean,
I don't know how we got stuck in this conversation, but a lot of it it's just bringing back a lot of memories. It's like a lot of people are like, yo, I make more money at home.
Yeah, they were sitting at home making $1,100 a week.
And especially restaurants, right? A lot of people, friends of mine that own restaurants, is like, yo, getting good people to come back has become an effort. It's become a real effort. But you didn't have that issue.
We didn't, because we kept everybody on. We didn't let
so you didn't send anybody home.
We didn't let anybody even have the chance here to stay at home. We just we swallowed it, and if we had to eat it personally, we did, because we also had people. We understand people have families and lives, and we wanted to make sure that they were safe and they had a job to come back to, and we made it work.
Yeah, I think COVID also I don't want to use the word usurped, but it definitely kind of shift the paradigm of reality in terms of employers. Because me in the lending industry, we were doing loans, and one of the things that was implemented during COVID was that they would call the employee the day of closing. Hey, does he still work there?
Yep.
Because the people were getting let go,
Yep.
like strategically or just quickly. Like one day they're working on Thursday, they're not working on a Friday. That was one of the things we had to close. I did a lot of closings in the parking lot, car to car.
Wow.
Where the client would take the package, sign, and you're watching, or not me, but the notary watching. They sign everything, they give it back, they stamp everything, and that would be the closing. Never physically in the same place. I did a lot. Yeah, it's a lot of memories coming back for that.
Yeah.
But going back to that, I think the reason that's affecting me so much is because COVID really exposed the unhealthiness of people, right? And then all of us that were, let's say, seemingly healthy, were then getting these bad habits, right? Because we were stuck in the house. Like, and what else can you do? Like, you're there, you can, you
eat.
Yeah, you
You're
get
bored.
You can't
find something to do.
You can't go outside.
How much TV can you watch?
How many times can you go outside and knock the pots at 6 o'clock? You remember that? That was a thing.
Yeah.
I was like, that's not an event for me.
Yeah.
But it just became a thing. But I think a lot of people kind of had to look in the mirror. Going back to you myself, it takes a strong person to look in the mirror and be like, what the fuck?
Yeah, exactly.
Other people, oh no, it's because, no.
No.
I was like, yo, who is that?
Exactly. I looked at myself with disgust.
The strong word, disgust. So guys, if you want to meet Mark in person, green light. This is where he's at. This is where he's at all the time. If you want to try, if you want to look like me, just try his meal prep. It's what I've been using. It works. I love it. One of the things I would love to get, the acai bowls here off the hook. We're working on the hustler plate. We're trying to get the lentils down. I keep telling you about that. Just a little more juice to make it juicy. All right, so you had asked me a question before. I just popped back in.
Yes, I did. How did this all start for you?
How did this all start? So in 2017, my mother had some conditions, some health conditions.
Okay.
So before that, I was very much a big believer in networking, and I had run an organization. I was president of certain things, and being out there. I believed in that to an extent. Then upon doing it for a couple of years, I realized that there's two types of people. People that are going to do the business no matter what, and people that just want to be out and be seen as if they're doing business.
Yep.
So I'm not judging them, but it is what it is. But I was not that. I was something else. So I was like, well, how is it that I can stay in the office and make the bread, to use that as an analogy, and still be seen? And so I got with the video company, and I said, I met with the owner. I said, this is my vision. I don't know how to, because I didn't know enough. Like now, if you ask me questions, I can tell you about social media. I can tell you about clicks for all that stuff. Before, I didn't know any of that. So I said, this is what I want. I want to be able to work, but have a message being put out every day.
Wow,
right?
That's great.
So then he was like, all right, so we went over my pillars, and I'm not going to break it down to science, but we did that. And then COVID came. And then I remember being in the house, and I remember George Floyd, the guy who got killed on the floor, and I saw the way my kids were affected on the phone. I'm like, yo, everybody's on the phone. Like, that's why nobody really, especially the younger generation, they're not really on the TV. They're on the phone.
Correct.
So I was like, I have to double down. So I doubled down. That's exactly, I had like an aha moment, and that's actually after I gained 30 pounds. So the aha moment all came together, and I doubled down. And then another part came out. So it did well. I saw traction. I got a lot of unmetricable business, meaning people reached out to me because they saw something, I said something, stuff like that. So you can't really, say, oh, I paid $5 for this, I got $10 back. You can't. But I got a lot of that. I got friends of mine that were in Ohio hitting me up, saying, I saw you on Facebook, I need you to refinance me.
Wow.
I had clients from Florida hit me up. I hadn't talked for a decade. I saw you on LinkedIn. I need to refinance my property in Brooklyn. I have so many of those stories. So that's why I became a believer, right? And then the podcast came out because I was like, look, I want to give people, and when I say people, I mean anybody I kind of know, and for myself included, I wanted to have a place where two people who are intelligent can just have a conversation, because I believe there's lack of representation of certain color dynamics and people in general.
Correct.
On TV. Like, they show us what they want us to see. Like, there's a person in charge of programming. There's a person saying, we have too many urban shows. We want that. There's a person, there's a lot of gatekeepers when we come to media. I'm not hating, but I was like, you know what? I make a little bit of money. I know the people that can do it for me, and I want to broadcast my own signal. Wow. And that's what became the whole thing. And not just me, people I meet, good people that I meet. Like, I've been coming here for years, right?
For
Like,
sure.
Omar, let's do this, man. Like, why? Because I want more people to know about you. Because
100%.
I'm a testament to it. I'm a testimonial. Like, food is great, always good. If there's an issue, talk to Mark, whatever. It can be habit. Like, you don't get that everywhere.
Absolutely.
And people have to understand that. And that's why I wanted to talk about it. But besides that, I love this place. If you come to Mamaroneck on any Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday in the afternoon, you might catch me here. Say hello. And Mark, anything to say to people on the, when they see you?
Yeah, thank you so much for interviewing me as well,
Absolutely.
Omar.
Yeah.
And come check us out. Again, we're at 266 Mamaroneck Avenue in Mamaroneck, New York, in the heart of the town. And if you want to check out our Instagram and see what we have to offer, the Instagram handle is greenlifeny. And check us out on our website as well at www.greenlifeny.com if you want to see all the options that we have to offer and see all the newest specials that we have to offer as well.
On that note, thank you for being on the show.
Of course. Thank you so much, bro.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.